King David's personal bravery and his love for the Creator were the foundations that supported his desire to build the house of Hashem. David Amelech was one of the pillars in the construction of the divine plan of the redemption. However, the Creator promised that it would be his son Shlomo who would build the house in his time, telling him, "Thy son, whom I will set upon your throne, in your place, he shall build a house unto my name." This way, in the time of Shlomo Amelech, 480 years after the exodus from Mitzrayim, that the first temple was built in honor of the Eternal. Its construction took 7 years to complete, and the divine presence resided there for 410 years. Idolatry, incest, and blood overflow were the reasons why Hashem permitted the destruction of his house. Then, King Nebuchadnezzar's troops surrounded Jerusalem and besieged the sacred city. They destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, the sacred temple, and left the city of Zion desolate, fulfilling the words of prophet Yirmiyahu, which were written in Megillah Eicha, Lamentations. However, after 70 years of exile in Babylon, a tragic experience remained in the minds of all members of Am Israel. The nation became spiritually stronger and returned to the ways of Hashem. Great prophets, sages, and spiritual leaders appeared. Ezra and Nehemiah were two great leaders and established educational centers and guided the nation. Upon the collapse of the Babylonian Empire, the exiled Jews found themselves under Persian rule. Thankfully, King Koresh announced that Am Israel could return to their homeland. They hurried anxiously to clear the ruins and began to work the lands and rebuild the yearned Beit HaMikdash. However, they knew that the new temple would lack the holiness of the first divine house. Anti-Jewish sentiment persisted among other nations, which interrupted the construction of the Beit HaMikdash. It was also during this period of time that the story of Purim occurred. As time passed, the construction of the second Beit HaMikdash in all its splendor was completed. During this time of its construction, no one in Jerusalem got sick, no one died, and nobody's tools broke down. Even though they realized that in the sacred house some kelim were missing and some miracles were no longer performed, the delight of the people was ceaseless. They listened to the Levim sounds, carefully observing the Kohanim resuming their work, and they praised and gave thanks to Hashem. The Beit HaMikdash lasted 420 years. When the Persian Empire declined, the Greeks took power. Alexander the Great governed the city of Jerusalem for 12 quiet years, but the tranquility did not last long. The influence of the Hellenic culture made Am Israel vulnerable. The evil Antiochus ordered the destruction of the walls of the city of Jerusalem. However, he could not be pleased, knowing that while the Jews continued to keep the Torah, their spirits could not be broken. He started a spiritual persecution, desecrating the Beit HaMikdash. However, the miracle of Hanukkah saved Am Israel. Again, in the year 3828, Titus, the Roman emperor, destroyed the walls of the city and set fire to the second Beit HaMikdash on the 9th day of Av, the same date of the destruction of the first house of Hashem. Our sages say that the reason we live in Diaspora, where we still find ourselves today, is because the Jews carry sinat hinam, baseless hatred in their hearts, a sentiment that should not exist among brothers. Because of this emotion, we still have not been able to sanctify the name of Hashem in order to bring about the Geulah, the redemption. Everyone in Am Israel has his own internal house. We use this house in our actions to bring the Shekinah into this world. We have inside of us the love and the brotherhood strengthened by the study and the fulfillment of the Torah, so we can be deserving of the construction of the third Beit HaMikdash. And it will be built, as written in the prophecy in the book of Ezekiel. And there will be so much knowledge in the land that it will be understood and constructed this way.